May of 2023. You got 2 counts of violation of probation, interfering and resisting, possession of a controlled substance. And you got 18-month period of probation in May of 2023, and you committed this crime in May of 2024.
And I was released for good behavior off of probation.
We do not have that. Okay.
That's what happened.
Continue, please. Please
I
stop
wouldn't lie about
interrupting.
that.
Please stop interrupting.
Thank you, sir. You two women have a lot to work on. God bless your soul.
And y'all know what time it is. It is Manbaby, Connecticut parole hearing time. Now, this image of him, it was taken in 2021, not for the relevant case that he is locked up for his 2025 conviction. And in this case, in 2021, this is what it says of him at the time. A convicted felon with 7 prior convictions and 4 pending cases was unwillingly taken into custody. A convicted felon with a lengthy criminal record over the past 8 years, including 4 pending cases, was arrested Tuesday night on a warrant for possession of a knife and a person struggling with police. Now, again, this has nothing to do with the crime why we're here today. He has so many felonies and arrests and convictions, but given chance after chance, probation after probation, it makes no sense. I'll go over his record at the end of the hearing. For now, let's jump in.
Joshua Gervati, 400768.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Joshua Gervati, inmate number 400768. He is serving a sentence of 30 months jail with 2 years of special parole followed for criminal possession of a firearm, reckless endangerment, and possession with intent. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date, July 27th, 2025. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the domestic violence program in Tier 1. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Yes, I prepared something. Mind if I read?
Please go ahead.
Sorry, it looked a bit lengthy, but I took my time.
Okay, we're going to ask you to focus on why you believe you deserve parole, because we still have half of a docket ahead of us. So when you say lengthy, please focus in on why you deserve parole.
Yes. Okay, so I just start reading. When answering this question, this is my life. I decided to get back to me. You know, some people might not care about a release, but I do. And every day, when I'm not working, I say to myself the remainder of the day, and I separate myself from the crowds of inmates I choose to surround myself with. But no longer is that man me. Although I have no children, I do have family, and this family I've let down too many times. Again, I look around and I walk to the hot water dispenser to get hot water and coffee or food for the day, and I see people at rec laughing and playing games, muttering about how they did this and did this so they could get some type of street credit. But these are the things that are burning images and phrases into my mind and my heart and my soul. I don't know if it's maturity or if it's common sense finally working. I'm so disappointed in myself for allowing this category of people to become the entitled person I am. This is far from the person I am. This is far from the person I want to be. I know not only do I have this self-disappointment, but the amount of disappointment I brought to my family and loved ones to beyond belief. My nephews and my one beautiful niece is so young, and they broke my heart when I just missed their high school graduation. I help raise these children, so I help raise these children to hold a cold place in my heart. My brother and my 2 sisters are raised by my very strong mother by herself, who is a domestic violence survivor. And because of that, my father spent my whole childhood incarcerated. With it being said, we only had each other and my mother. If my mother was not at school, she was working, and my siblings and when my siblings had children, we really counted on each other to be there, which led me to have a close bond with the kids. I'm telling you this because I want you to know that even though I don't have children of my own, I love these kids like they're my own, giving me a responsibility. I know for a fact I never want them to put me in this category of people I surround myself with right now, being incarcerated. I want them to see a positive role model and to be able to look up to me and to be able to count on me to be there for them through all of their struggles and triumphs. I have put too much disappointment into their lives these times I've been away from them for all the wrong reasons. I sit in my cell and stay away from associating with too many people while I am in here because I think long and hard by myself about how my life will be different and how I will stay away from wrongdoings that are so much drowning the world as we know of it. I vow to myself and I vow to not only state, but most of all, in my eyes, the children in my life, to lead them to not become a part of the wrongdoings around the world, but to make sure they see me as a person who the world a better place, who makes the world a better place one person at a time, so they can become one of the people who help change the world's wrongdoings one person at a time. Continue to be this change man when I'm released is my number one priority because I cannot help myself. If I cannot help myself, I cannot help anyone else. The next step after waking up to do the right thing for myself is to stay the most positive and focused influence in these kids' lives. When I'm granted parole, this process only starts a little sooner for me. I know no matter what, this mentality I have is in my head for the rest of my life, not only for these children of my siblings, but that goes for everyone in this world who sees me as an individual person. I refuse to be a negative influence in this world. I want people to see me and say, he is a good man. I know that being imperfect is close to impossible, but being perfect is not who I want to be. I want to just be right. A right person is a good person. Every day I wake up, I choose to do the right thing. Then incarceration is no longer even a worry of mine. But most of all, my nephews and my niece, they are safe around. They can be safe around me, and they can count on me being there. Which being there is so important in life. I want everyone in life to be able to count on me being there and doing the right thing for the rest of our lives. Upon my early release, being there for my nephews and my nieces is a major priority in my life, as well as my new additions to my family. My significant other, she is a major priority, but also a huge responsibility in my life. I plan on marrying her and someday having children of my own. This being said, my sponsor is her mother. Her mother has another younger daughter whose name is Raina Snow. And Raina is very important to my lady. It's important to my lady as she is her only sister. I say this because I take a great deal of responsibility and making sure she sees me as a good person, as well as an awesome male role model, with me being the only direct male figure in her life. I plan to help Brandon with schooling as I promised her, as well as helping to be there for her social life. Raina and I have many plans together when I am released, as we speak about over the phone. She has told me she is excited, so I take that very seriously. Just as serious as I take my nephews and my niece. I want the state to see how serious I am about doing the right thing upon my release, not only because as an individual, I want to do the right thing, but also because the amount of young children who will be in my life counting on me to do the right thing while I'm being there for them. I want the state to know that this is how I'm spending my free time when I'm not at work this is how I'm spending my free time when I'm not at work, but for work, I'm going to work the very next day I'm released. I have a position working with my brother, Adam Giravati, in his company as a carpenter doing residential rebuilds and remodels as well as any demo/construction needed. I already have a background in construction and carpentry due to the fact that I've worked for a company in the past doing such work. This is thanks to my very supportive brother who only wants to see me do good and succeed in life. Adam and I talk about me coming to work every time we speak on the phone. And if it's not about work, then it's about the kids. My brother is the most positive influence in my life, and he has always been there, been my role model, and I'm so proud to be able to look up to such a great person who has worked his whole life and stayed strong even when he lost his son's mother. He really showed me and has continued to show me strength when things get rough. He not only stays strong for his son, but then recently moved my mother in and showed me that hard work and doing the right thing really pays off. I know they're seeing how he is now happily married and owns his own business. I could go on for days about him, but all he has done. But my point I want to get across is that me being around my brother, working with him, is only going to inspire me to be a great man right alongside of him. When I accomplish half the amount of good deeds and when I make half the amount of right things he has done, I will be happy knowing that I'm on my way to becoming a great man as well. Upon my early release, I am also going to give back to the community by doing volunteer work and community service. I want to repay the world for all my wrongdoings. Helping people is one thing I will continue to do for the rest of my life. I'm also going to volunteer at animal shelters and soon work towards opening my own rescue. I do not want to see life suffer. So as I continue to work, I am going to be working towards opening my own apple orchard / farm and going to have a rescue / shelter on the property. Percentages of the proceeds will be donated to nonprofits and given back to the community. I have a lot of plans and goals that are long term, but everything I've told you about family and work is my immediate goals and plans. I aspire to be a great person, and that means doing the right thing never stops. I regret my criminal history more than words can explain, but I hope these words I speak to you today tell you enough to know that I know change is not out of reach. And with all being said, if I could go back in time, and I would have stuck by my brother and worked beside him a lot sooner, and I would have never made these mistakes in my life I have to face today. I know my future is very bright, and I cannot tell you in words how ready I am to start my journey of doing the right thing and being there for my family. Although I will show you how serious I am when I succeed on this early release, and I do all the right things by preparing every intention before I choose to take a single step. I would like to thank you, State, for allowing me to speak on my own behalf, and I thank you all for taking the time to hear all that I have said. Thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you, sir. We're going to ask you questions. We'll begin with my colleague, Mr. Zarkov.
Good morning, Mr. Gervais.
Good morning.
Can you explain what happened that led to your incarceration?
So that night was very much a blur because of the 2 days prior that I was in the hospital in a coma. I was in a medically induced coma, and that night that I was woken up from the coma, the doctor told me that told my brother that they're just gonna release me without evaluating me because I wanted to leave, and I didn't, I was out of control, I guess, in the hospital. He didn't want to deal with me, so I guess they just had let me out without evaluating me, and I was still under the influence of their sedatives and their whatever they gave me, tranquilizers and sedatives to stay into a medically induced coma. So without the evaluation, they had released me. So me being under the influence, it was hard for me to recall any of the events that happened that night. I was told by my brother and other people after I was already incarcerated over the phone, because I don't remember really any of it. It's all a blackout. But I guess after I was released, I had, somehow ended up back. I guess my brother dropped me off at the building, and then hours later, I ended up back at, the building where my girlfriend was staying, and this all happened. So I'm going off of what the police report said and what they're saying happened. I really don't recall what happened that night because of the amount of drugs I was under the influence that I was because of the hospital. And
let me ask you, did you take any illegal drugs after you discharged from the hospital?
Did I?
Did you take any illegal drugs?
I know I had the drugs when I was caught, so I'm assuming I did. I couldn't recall. I couldn't tell you what happened after the hospital. I don't remember anything until I woke up in jail, and that was all. Everything was just blacked out.
Okay. What about the gun?
I don't remember any of it, sir.
Was the gun yours?
I don't recall it being mine. I must have got it that night. So I'm not saying that it was mine. Like, I must have bought it or got it from somebody that night. I'm not saying that I definitely didn't have it before I was in the hospital. But after I got out of the hospital, I ended up getting it. So, I take full responsibility and accountability for everything that happened. although I don't recall a majority of it.
You don't remember having a gun, getting a gun?
I do not remember anything that happened after the hospital until I woke up in jail. I do not, sir.
This was not your first gun conviction, right?
No, it is not, sir. That's why I'm telling you I take accountability for it, although this, I just don't remember it. Like,
Right, understand. You have a drug and alcohol level score of 5, right? That's the highest possible. Why do you think that is?
because I used to have an opioid addiction, and I since then have received help and been taking medication. I've been receiving Suboxone and staying clean, and I was clean for a long period of time before before the hospital incident happened. Before I ended up having a seizure and going into a coma, I was actually being evaluated by my doctor and going to CHC and doing all the proper classes and drug tests and screens and all of that with CHC out of Enfield.
What is your longest period of sobriety in the community?
It was approximately 2 years, 18 months to 2 years before this incident happened. It was the longest I had been clean. I was doing very well.
So it's
I don't remember the exact amount of time, but it was around that amount of time, yes.
so 2022 until you
Until
were
incarceration.
arrested.
Basically.
And you have 3 tickets during this period of incarceration, right?
Yes, the first month that I was in county jail, I received those tickets. Yes, sir.
Okay, one was for fighting.
Yep. I guess the first day, this one I do not recall at all. The fight that I was involved in, I was, I guess this is when I first started remembering things, when I had waken up in the segregation. I asked him what happened. I guess the very first night I got there, I had gone into a verbal argument that turned into an altercation, a physical altercation, and then they ended up putting me into segregation, where I had finally came to, and then I was wondering what happened. And yeah, that's what happened for the fighting ticket.
Okay, what about the June of 24, the ticket for contraband?
So the contraband, so there was guys, they were over there, I think they were smoking tobacco or weed, and they were in my cubicle area. There was multiple guys that had went to SEG. I specifically, they told me that I could get away with the ticket or not get a ticket and go to SEG, but they told me I had to tell on the person who was doing it. And at that time, I felt like, you know, I just didn't want to put anybody under, you know, I basically didn't want to tell anybody and take. So I told him, I said, you could, you know what I mean? You could test me. I'm not the one who's doing it, but it was in my cubicle. I had nothing. I couldn't go. There was nothing else I could do unless I pinpointed one person and spoke his name and said it was him. So I ended up going to SEG for it.
Okay, you completed tier 2 facility. What did you get
Tier
from
one.
that? Tier 1, I'm sorry. Yep.
Yes, sir.
What did you get from that?
I got like coping skills. Basically, it was a lot to do with like addiction services, like recovery, as in like I learned how to cope with basically my addiction. You know, meditation, going to see counselors, which I never really thought, you know, thought about doing, because I never really thought about speaking to people. But I actually met with a lot of good counselors in the jail, and they are actually linked with a lot of closer counselors, like through CHR out in the world, in the street, as they call it. So I would actually be able to speak with some of the counselors like that too, who are similar to them. So I learned like that actually really helps as well. And and also attending meetings too. You know, it helps. You know, coping skills. And avoiding triggers too. Not really avoiding triggers, but when I get triggers, learning how to avoid them. Just doing like being smart and thinking about like not surrounding myself with certain people, certain places, certain things. And if I do, then I revert back to, you know, my coping skills and you know, attend a meeting or talk to a counselor or you know, do some type of self, you know, meditation or breathing or some type of, you know, coping skill. And I have all this other paperwork too that I plan on bringing home with me and keeping in my personal belongings. So that way, if I ever needed to look back on it, I could always go back to it and look into it.
Okay, so have you figured out what your triggers are?
Yeah, a lot of just being around a lot of the people that I grew up with, those were big triggers for me. Because I didn't grow up in the best neighborhood. So just being around a lot of my older friends and associates, you know, it sucks because, you know, I'm really good friends with them, but they choose a little bit different life. So just being around them in places that they are, if I choose to go around them, that's a huge trigger because there's drugs I know that, you know, I was an addict, so it's very possible for me to relapse and do all that just by seeing these people and being in these places. So that's a very good thing.
You don't deal with it. You go back in the community.
I'm sorry, say that again.
How are you going to deal with those triggers when you go back in the community?
Like I said, well, really, I really won't be actually even associating with those people at all. I'm planning on just working with my brother and visiting with my family. I don't plan on going back to old places or really even seeing old friends. Like I spoke to in my letter, being around people like that is really, I have a really big regret, like even associating with people like that when I know that it's the wrong thing to do. So I have a very big plan to just work constantly, be around my brother and help be there for the kids. And that's how I know that I can avoid a lot of that and relapsing.
All right, what about the domestic violence program? What you learn from that?
Well, one of the major things that I learned was, you know, children of any age, you know, well, it really starts even younger, like they could be 6 months, not have any conscience of what's going on around them, but without them even knowing, they're growing up and their brain is developing to this, and they're without even knowing they could alter their mindset about, you know, the right and wrong doings in life. And so how you act around a child or of any age is very serious. And no matter if they're in the room or if they just hear it. So me having a lot of children in my life, knowing that, I'm super precautious of how I act with my peers and how if anybody acts around the children. That was one of the major things I took from that class experience.
All right, do you have a job in the facility?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Are you working in the facility?
Yes, sir. I've been working, and I not only was I working since I think a month after I got here, I've been working ever since. And when I was even in county jail, when I was as soon as my ticket cleared, I went to work as a tierman in a tray server, and I held that job until I left county, and I was doing that for over a year. I would say almost a year-ish. And then when I got here, I applied for the maintenance job right away because I have background skills with working hands-on tools. And when I was interviewed, they gave me the job right away because I knew a lot of I knew a lot of hands-on tools that they use here, and it's been helping me learn. So it's a great job for me because now I know a lot of new things that I can apply to work as soon as I get out, which is great.
Okay, you already spoke about your plans for employment. You have some ambitious plans when you're released. What about your relapse prevention plan?
I plan on going straight to the doctor that I was seeing before because I'm currently still taking my prescription. So I know that when I go back to my doctor, I go back to the counseling, I can resume therapy and help with CHC with and that will help in my relapse prevention. But I plan on seeing them, if not the same day, as long as they're still open when I get out, then the very next day I plan on seeing my doctor because me and him had a very strong relationship, and he was a good doctor for me.
How would you say you've changed from this incarceration?
How would I say it's changed?
Yeah.
I think that I've changed dramatically, just mentally, period. I have a whole new mindset, just seeing certain things and hearing certain things that people do and say, it turns me off. It makes me really look on my life and have a new aspect, like how much different I can be and how much different I should have already been. And just the negative things that go around it, it's just so not interesting. And I just really wish that I got into working with my brother sooner and started doing that. I would have had to deal with a lot of things I've done. And it's just me knowing that feeling is inside of me, then I know that it changed me completely. Like, it could have been maturity. It could be just being around all and seeing the negative stuff going on at all the time and really taking a positive outlook on it because of being sober while I'm here so much and seeing all the negative while I'm here. I think it's changed my outlook on life dramatically, and it makes me want to just go home and do the right thing. And I didn't see that. I haven't seen that. I've never really seen that clear before.
Okay, well, thank you for answering my questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sure, Ms. Berry.
I don't have any questions for Mr. Gerald.
I don't either. So we're going to move to discussion. Please don't interrupt. Mr. Zarkoff.
So Mr. Gerardi rates moderate for risk of recidivism. Is here on 3 convictions: criminal possession of a firearm, reckless endangerment, possession with intent to sell. He has completed a couple programs, Tier 1, domestic violence program. He does have some tickets, but there has been some time since the last one. He did it in June of last year. I would have liked to see a high-level tier program, but that's what he is originally looking to do. He'll make a sentence in June of this year. Not to hear what other panel members think, but applying to support discussion and parole.
Okay, well, so this is an offender with, a 10-year criminal history, 9 arrests, prior gun conviction. He struggled when he was on special parole in the past. We make these decisions in interest in the light of public safety, and the situation he found himself in, despite his lack of recall, was incredibly concerning. SWAT team was called out. He pointed a gun at his brother. And then they recovered an unsecured firearm in his home in the closet on the floor, putting in jeopardy the 11-year-old child living in that home. He has 2 years of special parole. He will be end of sentence in less than a year. So I have him denied. It's just far too serious. Ms. Berry?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with you. You know, this is a very serious offense, and when they assign you a tier 1, it's usually when you're waiting to be sentenced. And his score is a 5. There's no way that that's acceptable in terms of treatment for such a serious substance problem. He was on probation when all of this transpired. You couple the nature with.
I'm sorry, I wasn't on probation when it happened.
It said that you were on probation for interfering with and resisting arrest.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't on any probation.
Well, according to our records, violated, okay, well.
In May of 2023, you got 2 counts of violation of probation, interfering and resisting, possession of a controlled substance. And you got 18-month period of probation in May of 2023, and you committed this crime in May of 2024.
And I was released for good behavior off of probation.
We do not have that. Okay,
That's what happened.
continue,
I
please.
promise you.
Please
I
stop
wouldn't lie about
interrupting.
that.
Please stop interrupting.
Okay, so at any rate, you couple the lack of treatment that I would have liked to see with the nature of this offense and his poor performance. Or that one aside, even if we don't include that one, I still show 3 failed attempts. So I would not be in support of his early release today either.
We heard an awful lot of words from Mr. Giovaci today, but I don't have a lot of confidence in the change that he spoke of. I'm glad to see his behavior is improving. At a facility, but the underlying issues are just far too concerning.
What I really took problem with as well, Madam Chair, was since we are deliberating, I was an addict. I used to be. And with the drugs for a 5, it was just
I mean, a 7-year
and with the
heroin addiction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just don't think that those are words that we should be using, but.
And we aren't sure, based on your questioning, whether he was intoxicated at the time. That contributed to his total lack of recall for this very, very serious situation. This was an 3-story apartment building, and other people were definitely in jeopardy. So nature and circumstance, criminal history, and poor performance on community release. Throw in inadequate program participation.
I absolutely would.
Okay. And where are you?
I would have supported the discussion raised
Okay.
without that with decision.
All right. In the matter of Joshua Giovaci, inmate number 400768, there's a motion to deny parole for the following reasons: your criminal history, the nature and circumstance of your offense, your poor performance on community release, and your inadequate program participation. Do I have a second?
I did all my programs, and I did an additional program. I did all my programs and an additional one. How is that inadequate?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Parole is denied. Then we need to set his conditions for his 2 years of special parole. What do you have? Is there?
Domestic violence.
Do you have anything else? Okay.
I don't even have a domestic violence case. It's a non-domestic violent case. I did that from willingly. I did that
I'm
extra
going to
program.
further move to set the
The
following
judge made this a
condition for
non-DV
Mr.
case. How does that even
Bob,
have anything to do with domestic
that's
violence?
a parole supervision, behavior management for domestic violence. Do I have a second? Oh, we don't vote. Okay, so, Officer Menard?
This concludes the hearing for Joshua Girardi, inmate number 4000768.
And so can we take a 5 minute?
Yes, I do use the
Sir.
bathroom. And I need my ears to stop ringing.
Sir, you're all set.
Thank you, sir. You two women have a lot to work on. God bless your soul.
Okay. Did you hear? She said, my ears are burning. I think all of our ears are burning. It's like nails on a chalkboard listening to him. Really, it was. And, it's good that they denied him. But again, this calls out, I forgot to put my lights on. This calls out the really just, again, the insanity of the agenda driven district attorneys and judges. Let me give you a brief overview just so you can see how insane this is. Look, he's getting out no matter what. October 27, 2026. He's getting out in less than a year, regardless, to go back onto the streets. This is a convicted felon who assaulted a cop again. It's not his first time. And with possession of a firearm, they could lock him up just for the felon with the firearm for 5 years. Forget all of the time that he's backing. That's the insanity about this. I'm going to do a screen share. It's not pretty. And so it's just the problem that the way that they show the records, but it's going to be the best we're gonna have to be able to get away with right here. And what you see in red is this is what they are sentenced. And keep in mind, Connecticut only shares 10 years of records. This is not all his records. And these are after plea deals. These are not his arrests. These are not his, right? So it's even hard to, because they jump around with the dates. But let's see. Let's go. So 2016 is the last known date that we have. It's reckless driving. Because again, they only get back 10 years. He got unconditional discharge. So there's nothing there. Or whatever, it's reckless driving. Who knows? He has, these are 2022. So 2019, failure to appear second degree, unconditional discharge, right? 8/25/2019, so this would have been a few months before this, interference with an officer, 120 days jail. That's interesting. I mean, I don't know if he served it or not. 1/14/2021, assault third degree. What's his sentence? Unconditional discharge. 2/18/2021, another interference with an officer. And these are plea deals. Interference with an officer, it could be so many things. Sentence 11 months jail, all suspended. Probation 2 years. So this is somebody who's already has a loaded jacket and they're giving a suspended sentence. Why? 5/15/2024, criminal possession of a firearm. 30 months jail, special parole 2 years. That's this sentence. 5/29/2025, so the same sentencing date. No, 5/14. This is a day before this. The same day, I guess. 5/15/2024, reckless endangerment, 1 year in jail. Possession of narcotics, this is 5/15/2024, 30 months jail. I guess those are redundant. 6/13/2022, interference with an officer, suspended. Okay, I don't know if we went through this already. It's so confusing, and it's just for me, it blows up my brain because of the way they do it. But I think they kind of do this on purpose because you have the date it happened, and you have the sentencing dates, and they like to pile it all in and whatnot. But again, I think that the main takeaway, let's not get confused by this unpacking, is that a hardened felon with a long record, with a jacket loaded with crimes. Like I said, this is one where they had the SWAT team called. This has nothing to do with the initial crime that we read about where he attacked a cop with a knife or something. Here he points a gun at his brother, the SWAT team's called, and they still only give him that little baby sentence that he's serving now. versus all the time that he's backing. And it's like, it doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't benefit him. He's going to end up killing someone. And probably we'll see him do some interview in 10 years where he says, they never gave me a long enough sentence. My brain wasn't mature. I needed to more time in programs. I see this all the time with other, felons that end up finding themselves with like a 50-year life sentence, and they'll blame it on the judge. They'll blame it on the DA. They said, I should have been given the proper amount of time when I was younger. And this agenda-driven mentality, it doesn't benefit the community. It doesn't benefit him. It benefits nobody. And regardless of this, he will be getting out very soon.
And I can't think of a bigger risk to public safety than a DUI. And here you are with two of them, and you crashed into a vehicle that struck a officer at the scene.
We start with some developing news for you right now at 5. A Stonington police sergeant is recovering in the hospital after he was hurt on the job.
And this is a story we first brought to you as breaking at noon today. Channel 3 New London Bureau Chief Luke Hydash is live in Stonington on Route 184 with more on how that sergeant is doing tonight. Luke, good evening.
Aaron, Mark, the Stonington Police Department says that sergeant is okay tonight. He is alert. He is conscious in the hospital in Rhode Island. Just a few hours ago, the road here on 184 reopened after state police spent the better part of the day trying to piece together what happened. Just after 11 this morning, Stonington police say one of their sergeants was standing in front of his cruiser when it was hit by a red convertible. The cruiser was pushed forward, hitting that sergeant, sending him to the hospital in a Lifestar helicopter.
Now, he was driving intoxicated on a suspended license when he blew through a red light, slammed into the car, and had to have this police officer helivac. And who knows how much he suffered since then. Now, less than 2 years later, he is up for parole. Frankly, I'm just shocked. I thought that maybe the agenda-driven DAs and judges would at the very least, help protect those in blue that put their lives on the line to protect others. But no, this repeat offender is up for parole already. It's shocking, but it's Connecticut. And anyways, let's jump in.
Dave McCracken, 355773.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for David McCracken, issue number 355773. He is serving a sentence of 6 years, execution suspended after 3 years jail with 4 days, 3 years and 4 days, and 5 years of probation. For assault second with a motor vehicle while intoxicated, 2 counts of illegal operation of motor vehicle under the influence. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of October 4th, 2025. There's no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed. The offender has completed the anger management program. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Thank you. I have a aphasia from a stroke and heart attack, so I'm really bad at writing things down. But I just want to go out and be a father and a grandfather to my family. My ex-wife died September 13th this year. I really feel bad about the accident I was in. It was absolutely my fault. I shouldn't have been driving. It was really bad choices on my behalf, but I can't take that back now. I'm just trying to go forward and do everything right, make great steps.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Moore. You had something else to say?
No, that's okay. No.
Okay, so Mr. McCracken will each be asking questions of you in order to make our decision as to whether or not you're suitable to go out early on discretionary parole to complete your sentence. We make these decisions in light of the interests of public safety. And I can't think of a bigger risk to public safety than a DUI. And here you are with two of them, and you crashed into a vehicle that struck a officer at the scene.
Yes.
So I'm not really sure that this was an accident. It was a crash, but you made the choice to get behind the wheel after drinking. You had a couple of shots at 9 a.m.
Yes.
And you consume marijuana on a daily basis. So
Yes.
that was in your system as well. So that's incredibly concerning. You have DUIs in your past as well, 2010, 2012. And I read when you met with Officer Menard that you realized you had a problem with alcohol after your third DUI in 2012. Is that correct?
I had a problem with alcohol after my divorce. And I really couldn't handle it, and I went the wrong way. After my third DUI, I didn't get a license for like 5 years, and I'm a mechanic. So I had to ask people to drive my cars after finishing my cars. So that's one good thing that I did, because I could have drove myself. I'm not really that way. I don't think I got my jail number till I was 36 years old, 35 years old. So I'm not a thief. I'm a trusted guy. I'm sorry, I can't think.
Take your time.
Thank you. When I went to court, my lawyer asked me to get some notes for the judge, and I got 8 or 9 of them. And they said, "What do you want me to say?" I said, "Well, say how I treated you, because I don't have an angry friend in my life that I know. Everybody loves me. I fixed their guitar. I fixed their cars. I play guitar. I teach their kids to play guitars. I'm sorry. Because of my stroke, I stutter and
You're doing fine,
whatever.
sir.
Thank you. I went to Pond House in 2014, and I went to my brother Mike's house, and I had 5 years sober at my brother Mike's house. Then I got a girlfriend, and I did 2 years sober with her, so that was 7 years sober. And I met my girlfriend in high school. So,
Okay, I'm going to stop you, Mr. McCracken, because
yep.
we've read a lot of this background, and
Okay.
and we're getting pretty far afield here. I get that
Okay.
you suffered some losses that may have contributed to your relapse.
Yep.
But we can't overlook the fact that when you drank to excess, you chose to get behind the wheel. And, we're not talking about a little bit over the blood alcohol limit. You blew right past it. You had a 0.24 at 11:15 in the morning. when you struck the sergeant, you had a blood alcohol at 8 p.m. Of a 0.177. I mean, this is incredibly concerning. So you're incarcerated now with a drug and alcohol score of 4, and you've taken anger management. Congratulations, you got an excellent evaluation on that.
Thank you.
You've taken the Voices program. I hope that helps you appreciate what people suffer when you and others like you make the choice to drink and drive. And
Yes.
you still have an addiction services program on your OAP that I hope you will complete before you go back out into the community. You have 5 years of probation, but I couldn't
didn't know.
possibly find you suitable without it.
I didn't know I had the addiction services. It wasn't on my OEP.
It is,
And I
in
did.
fact, it is, sir, an OAP dated 7/10/2024. Ms. Barry, any questions for Mr. McCracken?
I don't. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Zarkoff. Okay, all right, so we're gonna discuss. We did receive a lovely support letter from his brother, and he's lucky to have that help in his life.
Yep.
You know,
If I,
I think one of the saddest things I read in Mr. McCracken's story is 2 of his 3 children also have DUIs. And
What's
he,
that?
you know, readily admitted he crashed a lot of cars. So this is just too much for me. I have him denied
I
for
couldn't
criminal
understand what
history.
you said.
We're talking among ourselves because we're done with the
Oh, okay,
question.
because I thought you were talking to me.
Criminal history, nature and circumstance, inadequate program participation, and evidence of offender change.
I have criminal history and inadequate program participation and evidence of offender change. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I have 3 of the 4 that you had said, so the 4th is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's just too serious.
It's way too serious. And you know, that he only got 3 years and 4 days, it's kind of remarkable.
I
You
know
know,
that.
the officer suffered burns, a broken hip, and a shoulder injury. So in the matter of David McCracken, inmate number 355773, there's a motion to deny parole for the following reasons: your criminal history, the nature and circumstance of your current offenses, your inadequate program participation, and evidence of offender change. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Parole is denied.
This concludes the hearing for David McCracken, inmate 35577.
I did a alcohol class before I went to jail on
That's
Church
great.
Street. Okay, thank you.
How quickly did they deny? And I just want to point this out for all of those who are watching. This is proof. This is proof that the parole board can deny someone, because whenever they say, well, we want to give the chomo, you know, some supervision on the outside, or what more can they do inside a prison? Here is proof they can do it. They can do it in these cases because it's my opinion that they believe there's too much risk. As they said it themselves, there's too much risk to release somebody who might get behind the wheel and drink, but not too much risk to send a chomo out who's going to go and hunt down its prey. And it's really simple. It's because if someone goes out and drinks and kills someone, which the odds feel high, statistically, who knows if they actually are high, but it would be bad. It would go right back to the parole board. There would be blood on the parole board's hands, and they can't sleep at night. But when it's a child, no one's going to know about it. It's not going to get back to them. The odds of it ever making it back to the news, or even ever getting caught again. But there's proof. I mean, give them credit for saying no, but there's proof. But what doesn't make any sense is how in the world a district attorney or a judge would give a man on his 4th, I think it's his 4th DUI, his 4th DUI that I know of, caught, and he hits a police officer. The police officer gets hellovac'd. This just happened. That police officer probably hasn't gone back to work. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still healing. This happened February 22nd, 2023. And he's already up for parole November 2025. He was only sentenced 7/2/2024. And it's like when you have someone who is dangerous, who, by the way, showed no empathy or remorse at all. Like, if someone who is dangerous, so dangerous, you know what they found? It wasn't just alcohol. He blew through a red light. Reading the article, he blew through a red light. So what is it? Was charged with traffic violations after his red Toyota convertible slammed into a park. Stonington police. So he had the Toyota convertible. That'd be the Subaru, probably, right? That was the. He flew through red light, went past in a no passing lane, and slams the car. They also found narcotics in his system, in addition to the alcohol. And I think they let him out on bond because it says here in the article that he turned himself in. So, you would think when you hit a police officer and the police officer gets helivac, and this is your fourth DUI, that you would get more than a 3-year, 4-day sentence. But these judges are nuts. They really are. And this guy, no matter what, will be out soon. And if there's any reason to think that he's not going to get behind the wheel and drink again, you got to be nuts. And he had a suspended license too. They always have suspended licenses. In Louisiana, if this had happened, he would have gotten probably a 25-year sentence. At least for the cases that we've seen. We've seen habitual DUIs where they get the book thrown at them. But as soon as you run over a cop, and you're in a bitch, it's just weird. You can get more time just for one DUI, right? I don't know. I mean, the Connecticut's crazy, but they have an agenda, and their agenda is to be light on crime. That's just what it is. And that doesn't benefit anybody.
I don't even need parole. I'll just halfway then. I'll just like to waive parole and halfway because this is very upsetting. I keep hearing this, like you guys are going against me. It's upsetting.
Okay, let me just stop you right there. Nobody's against you. The best case scenario is for you to never come back into prison. That's what I want. That's what I'm sure other panel members want.
I truly believe I will never come back. I will never come back. I should have never took my first offer, 2.5 years, 10 years on my head, 5 years probation. I should have never took that offer. They took advantage of me because I was 18. I was young. I did not know about my rights. I did not know about my laws. I should have never. This is why I'm in this predicament right now. I would have never been here right now.
And ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It is Manbaby parole time. Another parole hearing out of the state of Connecticut for a genuine Manbaby. And it is interesting to see this Manbaby in action. The immaturity is absolutely outstanding. And not to mention, it's like the way that he just yells at you got to see it. You're going to have to see it to believe it. Now, his full term date is 11/25/2026. So he's got a year riding on this. Do you think that they're going to parole him, or are they going to just let him out? Now, he hasn't been Prince Charming while locked up. He actually has a fighting ticket. It seems that he actually knocked over one of the COs, although he insists it was by mistake. I mean, I guess you got to give him credit. If he does bark and bite while in prison, then maybe he's not just like one of those bullies that only pick on people half his own size. I don't know. Anyways, let's go see how this pans out.
Did you write a statement that you want to read to us?
I did.
Have it out and ready, please.
It's
We're ready to start.
It's kind of long. I don't know if you guys. I don't know.
Oh, no. Short and sweet is good.
Yeah, I made it pretty long.
We're not ready for it yet. It looks way too long.
Good afternoon. My name is Parole Officer Renard. Today is Friday, November 14th, 2025, and this is the hearing of the Board Department. Following board members are present this afternoon by stating their names on the records, are they reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Nancy Turner, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Alex Dykoff.
Councilmember Berry, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Montenegro.
Hold on. Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Brian Montenegro, 427780.
He's serving this hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Brian Montenegro, inmate number 427780. He is serving a sentence of 2.5 years jail class sentence for violation of probation with the underlying offense of violation of protective order and failure to appear first. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of August 26, 2025. There's no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed. It shows the offender has not completed any programs. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls in a very high range of risk numbers. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I actually did complete programs. I just completed a program Wednesday. I completed Voices program. And I'm in school, and that's what I'm doing. So I would like to read it.
We want you to focus, Mr. Montenegro, on the question that was put to you, which is, why do you believe you deserve parole? We've read all about your background.
I think I deserve parole because I've been on my best behavior. I've been doing really good. And I have good intentions when I come home. I really want to get my life together. I want to recover, and I like to work, stay in my own place.
Okay, those are why you want parole. We're asking you, why do you deserve it? What have you done while you're incarcerated to prepare yourself to be successful in the community?
I've been assisting programs. I've been doing good in school.
Okay.
And I've changed a lot from before how I used to be. I've grown. I've really matured.
Great.
I've learned to self-control. I learned to dedicate myself, to be committed, to be on my best behavior, doing what I have to do. No, that's what.
Okay. All right, so we're going to ask you questions based on the documents that were available to us to read. And then we will discuss your case and make a decision and share that with you today. You ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, panel member Berry will begin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Montenegro, I appreciate your opening remarks. Those are our desires for you as well. We want you to return to the community. We want you to be successful. We want you to make better decisions, which is why you're incarcerated, and they provide different programs to help you gain the tools that you did not receive when you were out in the community. So I'm glad to hear that you're in school. What subjects are you currently studying?
I'm currently studying language arts. I was supposed to have a test completed. I already completed 2 tests for my GED. I was supposed to complete this test, but we've been on lockdown, so it's pushed back for next week. I'm pretty sure I'll pass that test, and I only have math left over. But I'm focused on language arts right now. I'm really confident I'll pass my next test.
Why do you think that you are working on getting your GED at 23 instead of doing it when you had an opportunity years ago?
Because I was on medication before that used to make me very, very tired, but I didn't think I needed a GED. But as I got older, I seen that it could be really helpful. Before I used to think I did not need a GED, and I would work. I thought about working in jobs that really don't need a diploma. But as I got older, I learned that I do need the GED. That a GED will be helpful to get a better job.
I mean, honestly, I look at you and your age, and it's like you really should be instead of in prison, you should be graduating from college or going to graduate school or something to better yourself. Instead, you're backpedaling because you didn't make the best choices. I want to talk to you a little bit about your offenses, because you were out on probation for violating a protective order. And I want to know why the protective order was put in place.
The protective order was put in place because when I was younger, I used to smoke marijuana, and my mother didn't like me to be in the house around my younger siblings, bringing marijuana around, the smell of marijuana, or smelling like marijuana, yeah, like or doing any marijuana around the house. So she was very upset. She asked the juvenile courts, what can she do about this? And they recommended a protective order where I have to follow house rules.
So your parents can't request protective orders because their children don't do what they say. Were you violent? Were you violent? Did you display any violence while under the influence?
No, I was never violent. None of my protective orders, I never violated violent. It was never violent.
Okay, did you have an opportunity to read any of your police reports, sir?
Yes.
Okay, because you were violent. Even when the officers were trying to apprehend you for your current case right now, you were fighting them. You made the officer fall.
Oh no, I thought you was talking about when I violated my protective orders.
No, so let me back you up. So I asked you why the protective order was in place. You told me that your mother went to juvenile detention and asked them to put the protective order in place because you were smoking marijuana. And I said to you,
no, I said it was recommended by a probation officer. I was already involved in the juvenile courts. A probation officer recommended this. My mother didn't ask for it. She didn't even know what this was. But I thought what you was asking is how I violated. I didn't violate any in the violent way.
So Mr. Montenegro, listen to the questions, okay? Because I'm very specific. So when we first started our discussion, I said to you, why was the protective order put in place? And you said to me that your mother did not like you smoking marijuana around your younger siblings. She went to the juvenile detention and asked them to put the order in place. That is what you told me. So then when I asked you, did you ever display any violence while you were using this marijuana? You told me that you had not. You never have been violent.
I misunderstood. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Okay. So the protective order was put in place because you were involved with prior juvenile delinquency or some juvenile actions. Were you assaulted? Were you angry? If there is a reason why they put a protective order is to protect people who believe that they will be harmed in some way. So there's a difference. So when the protective order indicates that there's some level of violence.
Yes. No. I used to like. Sometimes I would pawn my belongings, and she would not like that. I would sometimes take her car, and she would not like that. That's about it. What I could say. She used to ask help because I was not following house rules. I was young at the time. I was young at the time. Yes.
No, you still are very young.
This is all things I do not do anymore. I've learned from that. I've grown. I'm matured. My own mother would tell you I do not do none of this no more.
So I'm asking you about your level of violence, sir, because in both these instances where you violated your probation, you were argumentative, you were combative, you were walking down the street and under the influence after a motor vehicle accident. and yet you make yourself out to somehow be the victim of your crimes. And I'm trying to understand the rationale, because if you're not a violent person, I'm not sure why you keep finding yourself in these situations where you're being arrested because you're unable to control your emotions. That was a question.
Well, it depends what situation you're talking about. Are you talking about my last arrest? The arrest that I violated probation with? Yes, so I believe there was no, I believe like, I knew I was on probation. I knew if I got arrested, I'll do time. But I believe like when they was arresting me, I didn't understand why. I told them why. I didn't do nothing. I was the one getting assaulted. I was the one getting beat up. So I knew like if I had an encounter, it was over. Like I was gonna do time. So I asked them, why am I getting arrested? Why am I getting arrested? There's no reason why I should be getting arrested. And they was trying to hit me with assault officer, but I was gonna fight that all the way because I did not assault no officer. And this these charges were dropped because I didn't assault no officer.
Okay, the charges may have been reduced to something else, but that does not negate the behavior, sir. Did you fall when the officer was trying to put you in handcuffs? Did the two of you fall? Yes or no?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
We did fall together.
Do you think that he would have fallen if you would have let him put the handcuffs on you? That's a yes or no? That's not a difficult question, Mr. Montanaro.
I was resistant. I do regret it. Yes. I should have been more compliant. I do regret this. I should have been more compliant.
I think that there seems to be some sort of disconnect in between what you believe to be the truth, sir, and what actually transpired with these convictions. I have to be honest with you in that, I know that you were using marijuana. You just told us that, and that in the motor vehicle accident, you were under the influence of alcohol, and you have yet to address any of that since you've been in the facility. And you couple the lack of programming to address your substance abuse needs, along with your disciplinary infraction for fighting, which shows it's a demonstration of continued violence, sir. And you haven't taken any programs to really combat those behaviors. So it's very concerning when you sit here before us and you're requesting early release or consideration for early release, but you haven't really shown us that you're able to comply when you're required to.
Yes, but if you look at my ticket history, you will see a big difference there. I used to have so many fighting tickets in my last time when I did 2.5 years. And this time, yes, I do. Yes. And this time,
I asked him about violence, if he was violent, and he said that he wasn't. So I'm confused, Mr. Montanaro. I'm confused.
I admit I was a violent person, and that's why I'm saying I've changed, and you can see that just from my ticket history. My ticket history, I used to have a lot of fights in my last bit. I did make one mistake. I do have one ticket this time, and I'm very sorry for it. I'm sorry to myself too, because I do regret it, and I apologize.
I appreciate that. I appreciate your acceptance of responsibility and your.
But I've been doing so much better. I've been throwing my pride away. I've been doing so much so good. Like so much good. I've been controlling my anger, controlling myself. I've been really. I've been doing it on my own. I've been doing really good.
Okay, so I don't want to negate any of the efforts, sir, that you have made to turn your life around. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it hasn't been demonstrated long enough for me to believe that you are going to return to the community and not be in any more trouble. So there's still work to do on yourself.
Yes, but this was not on my OAP. If this was on my OAP, if somebody told me this earlier, I would have this programs completed by now.
All right, thank you.
Nobody told me that I was supposed to have this, do this, or had a problem like this. I didn't think about that. I think I've seen that I've grown. I've seen that I've changed. That's what I've seen.
Well, you have to see things from my perspective too. I don't know you, sir. And all I see is what I have here on paper. And that's not to discredit you, but I have to go based on what I'm reviewing. And while I would love to believe that, you've changed a whole lot, I don't know you. I'm not in there with you, but I mean, just reviewing what I've seen, it has not risen to a level that would demonstrate to me that you're ready to return to the community and be a law-abiding, contributing member. So, I mean, you have to look at things from our perspective. We have to go based on what you've done and what you've shown us. And I hope that you continue to work on yourself, because we all need to do that. It's only room for improvement, right?
Yeah, so I will continue to work on myself.
Okay. Mr. Sokra.
Mr. Montenegro, I want to ask you about something that you wrote about to the parole officer about addiction services program on your OAP.
Yes.
And you wrote several letters about that. At one point you said that you stated that you exaggerated your drug addiction in the past to get a GRI badge.
Yes.
Truthfully, you're not addicted to any drug.
No.
You also said you lied to the courts and DOC to get into a GRI program.
Yes.
So do you understand how it's problematic lying about your addiction issues?
Yes, this was when I first got arrested. When I first did time, I lied and told him I do drugs that I don't do because I wanted to get to GRI bed.
Do you understand why that's a problem?
Yes, because I lied.
Yeah, what are the consequences of that?
I had to face them. They had to make me do programs, and that's what people said. But
that's one consequence, right? The record is going to follow you, right? If you say you have certain addiction issues, we're not drug and alcohol counselors. There's a record of that already, right? And so that's going to follow you. Another consequence is that you may be taking a program away from somebody who actually needs it.
Yeah.
Right? So do you need an addiction services program or not? At this point?
I don't because I don't smoke. I won't smoke no more marijuana. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do none of the drugs. I said I don't need no program. I will assist it. If you guys want me to assist it, I will assist it. But at this point, it sounds like you guys are going to deny me. I don't know why I have to depend my life. I have to prove to you guys. When I say I've been doing better, I've been doing better. I've been doing good. If you guys don't want to see that, if you guys want to go against me, it's not gonna change nothing. I'm still gonna come home. I'm compliant with probation, parole. I do programs. I do everything I'm supposed to. So you guys are trying to keep pushing me back. I don't even need parole. I'll just halfway then. I'll just like to waive parole and halfway, because this is very upsetting. When I keep hearing this, like you guys are going against me, it's upsetting.
Okay, let me just stop you right there. Nobody's against you. The best case scenario is for you to never come back into prison. That's what I want. That's what I'm sure other panel members want.
I truly believe I will never come back. I will never come back. I should have never took my first offer. 2.5 years, 10 years on my head, 5 years probation. I should have never took that offer. They took advantage of me because I was 18. I was young. I did not know about my rights. I did not know about my laws. I should have never. This is why I'm in this predicament right now. I would have never been here right now. For the charges I had, I made mistakes. I know, and I know what I have to do now. Every time I learn, as the time passes by, I learn. I learn more and more, and I fix up more and more areas as my life continues. All the stuff that I used to do when I was young, steal, rob, bring to cars, do everything. I don't do none of that no more. Fighting, I don't do none of that. I'm really been changing. I'm smart enough to know what I need to change. I want to be successful. I want to be a good person. I want to have something in life. I want to have my own family, my things. I don't know. I got some sense in me, but as soon as I talk to you guys, the first lady, she's already going against me. She's already making it seem like I'm a problem. But at this point, it doesn't matter.
Let me just wrap
It doesn't matter no more. At this point, it doesn't matter no more. I'll continue to be good. I don't need to depend on you guys. I'll halfway. If I have to halfway, I'm gonna wait for halfway. I'll still make it there. Why wouldn't I make it there? I've been doing good. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do in jail, and I'm staying on my best behavior.
All right, well, thank you for answering my questions. I'm all set, Madam Chair.
Certainly. So, Mr. Montenegro, parole isn't a cakewalk. You know, it's not a given. It's a privilege, not a right. And we have a responsibility to the public to protect public safety. And that's why we ask you these questions, because you can sit here and tell us that you're matured and you're changed, and we need to explore that with you so that we can come to our own conclusion about whether or not you've grown and changed. So here's a couple of points that, for me, raised a question about that. In your letter concerning programming, you said they're being very irresponsible, not getting me enrolled quick, and that you don't even need this program. Then you said that your sentence was fair, but by not getting the programs you were concerned you'd be denied and made to do extra time. It's not extra time, it's your sentence, which is 30 months.
Yes.
There's no extra to it because you're not guaranteed the 50% release point, which is already passed anyway. So we have these correspondences from you that we've read that, to me, speak of great immaturity, that you're railing against DOC for not putting you in programs when you got a fighting ticket, which would have kept you out until that cleared, you know, and so you can't game the system by telling the judge, on one hand, you got a drug problem, and then you come into DOC and they want you to do a program and suddenly you don't have a problem. And I would suggest to you, Mr. Montenegro, that anybody who's using marijuana every day, that's a problem. It affects your brain, it affects your motivation, and it affected your relationship with your mother. I mean, it was already negative in your life. So you could benefit from any program you took. And I really think the program that you need, which isn't on your OAP, is anger management. I think you're struggling as a young person to learn how to regulate your emotions. We've already
because
seen
I've been locked up all my life. I've been locked up since I was 18. I have to depend on people like you guys. Like, why do I have to depend on you guys? Do you see my charges? My charges are petty. I shouldn't. There's no reason why I should be doing so much time like this.
All right.
There's no reason. Like,
Panel Member Barry, where are you with Mr. Montenegro and his petty crimes?
I do not find Mr. Montenegro suitable today. He still has more work to do. I mean, I understand that he's very young, and it sounds as if I'm going to call it passionate about the strides that he's made thus far and the change that he says that he's made. Unfortunately, I just don't believe that enough time has elapsed for him to prove that change to us. So I really came in with rehear maybe, but now I am a denial based on the nature and circumstance and inadequate evidence of offender change and inadequate program participation.
I understand where you're coming from. I'm not sure that I'm on board with inadequate evidence of offender change. I think it's fantastic that he's working on his GED, that he's so close, and that he's looking back going, I need this. And he does. He needs it to build the rest of his future as a foundation to have his GED. So, and I think he's starting to understand that you can't win by gaming the system, that dishonesty is not going to work in your favor. I really want to see him do an anger management program between the fight in DR and then the street fight in Waterbury in 2024. He needs to unpack why he is, expressing himself through aggression. And we even see the aggression in the correspondence. I mean, he's so angry. And I hope he can figure out why, because that's no way to go through life.
And that's where the inadequate evidence, in my opinion, because I mean, while on one hand he's capable of doing great things, he continues to allow that emotional,
well, he's in a real victim mindset.
Right. So. And so for me, and even our discussion here today, like I'm saying to him that I understand things from your perspective, but from my perspective, I don't know you. And all we have is what we're reading,
Well, yeah. I mean, he was interviewed, a month ago? And he said his family puts him in jail. And so this lack of acceptance of responsibility is additionally concerning. He referred to his crimes as mistakes. No, they're crimes. They're choices that he's making.
He said they're petty.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a bunch of things that
I think it's very unlucky. It's okay. I don't even need to see you guys no more. I like to wave you guys.
Sir. I don't
like to rely on you guys. I don't need to rely on you guys. I like to wave you guys. I'll make it home either way.
So, Mr. Montenegro, can you please stop interrupting us? We're just talking about.
I would like to wave parole. I'm good.
We are in the middle of the hearing, so we are going to finish our job. And if you were actually mature, you're going to sit there with your mouth closed and let us finish our job. Go ahead.
I'm not in favor of his discretionary parole.
What are your reasons, please?
Inadequate institutional program participation, institutional adjustments, poor performance community supervision.
In the matter of Brian Montenegro, inmate number 427780, there's a motion to deny parole for the following reasons: your criminal history, your poor performance on community release, your poor institutional adjustment, and your inadequate program participation and evidence of offender change. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Parole is denied. We wish you much success.
No parole for Tate.
The hearing for Brian Montenegro.
None. Mr. Tate is not getting parole
because of anger issues. And this is a poster child for Manbaby and anger issues. Should we make a Manbaby playlist? I feel like we should make one. I don't have it. It's just like Connecticut parole hearing playlist and Act 23-169 pardon expungement, but I should add Manbaby. What do you guys think? Do you use playlists? Let me know in the comment section. I do read the comment section. That's the only way I can communicate and engage with y'all. So if I don't hear from you, I don't know what to do. But what a man child. And I wish I could give you more context, because I don't know, maybe I can only speculate at how long his record must be. I did do, I tried finding information out of him. I'm not going to bring Sarisha out of her time and to look for info. There is one thing where in 2018 they sent out a silver alert where he was a teen missing. It looks the same in this picture. I mean, this kid you can tell he is angry. He's got some rage. He's got to work on himself. He's got to do something. And I wish, it was nice. The parole board did, smack him around a little bit. They denied him. I almost wish they would have paroled him, because I know we would see him again and it would make a good return of segment, his revocation hearing and everything. But what is he? He's 25 years old. He cannot be doing well. Can you imagine what prison must be like for him? He's like 150 pounds soaking wet. Like he looks like he's 15 years old. That cannot be fun. He has got to be going through it. And he was given a 2-year, 6-month maximum sentence, which was his violation of probation. You know, he's like, oh, I shouldn't have this sentence. I was young. I shouldn't have agreed to this. It's like, shut up. You know how many, we know Connecticut, we know the DOC. He was probably given so many chances. And that's where I wish I can give you context. I can't, normally I have information, but I think because of the age, it's all hidden, right? And my guess would be is that a lot of his stuff came when he was like 17 and maybe all, I don't know. He got, we know in Connecticut, his rap sheet is probably so long. He got 2 years and 6 months, and he thought, oh, I'll only serve half of it. No, it doesn't work that way. And I mean, sometimes it works that way, but I don't see anything else. Like, I don't even know this. Like, so he was sentenced 8/19/2024. No, sentenced 4/4/2025. I mean, he was only sentenced like 8, 9, 7 months ago. 7 months ago, 6 months ago, 6 months ago, really. I mean, 6.5. So like, but I guess he was in jail and before then because his admission, the last admission day was 8/19/2024. Anyways, I'll be getting out in a year, November 2026, and he's not gonna do, like, you could already tell he's probably gonna check out. I hope he doesn't for himself, but he's just angry. There's something he's got to figure out what it is that he's so angry about. And the sad thing is, he's so young. I can imagine that he's probably going to spend the rest of his life in and out of the system, and it's just going to be, what does he do next? How bad is it that whatever he does? And everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, no, I didn't see that coming. Why is this guy who's been in and out of prison his whole life do something like this?" It's like, well, maybe because he didn't give him a long enough sentence so he could actually work on himself, get a trade. Hey, why not give him a CDL license? What they do in Connecticut with a CDL license, it's crazy. But anyways, there you go. There you have it. Another Connecticut man baby. And with that, I'll let you go.
I've never been here right now. For the charges I have, I made mistakes. I know, and I know what I have to do now. Every time I learn, as the time passes by, I learn. I learn more and more, and I fix up more and more areas as my life continues. All the stuff that I used to do when I was young, steal, rob, bring to cars, do everything. I don't do none of that no more. Fighting, I don't do none of that. I've really been changing. I'm smart enough to know what I need to change. I want to be successful. I want to be a good person. I want to have something in life. I want to have my own family, my things. I don't know. I got some sense in me, but as soon as I told you guys, the first lady, she's already going against me. She's already making it seem like I'm a problem. But at this point, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter no more. At this point, it doesn't matter no more. I'll continue to be good. I don't need to depend on you guys. I'll halfway. If I have to halfway, I'm gonna wait for halfway. I'll still make it there. Why wouldn't I make it there? I've been doing good. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do in jail, and I'm staying on my best behavior.
All right. Well, thank you for answering my questions.